Ty Cobb, no, not him, the former lawyer for Donald Trump, has pinned a new nickname on the tail of Karoline Leavitt, the press secretary, calling her Creepy Karoline. And I think the reason he did it is because she just took to the podium that said effectively that Donald Trump can't be bothered with the separation of powers and the checks and balances that's inherent within our Constitution, that activist judges are getting in the way of Donald Trump's abuse of power. I mean, there's no other way to interpret what she just said on the podium. She called the the Court of International Trade a bunch of activist judges getting in the way of Donald Trump's diplomacy and his exercise of economic policy, which is nothing could be further from the truth, because they ruled against him 3-0 last week, finding that he does not have, under the Constitution or under statutes, the power to impose sweeping tariffs and retaliatory tariffs against the entire world to the tune of 25%. Now, most of those tariffs have been put on ice, but now you've got Creepy Karoline, I'll go with it, Ty, thank you, taken to the podium to say that this president, no crap, by the way, doesn't respect the U.S. Constitution and the separation of powers. First of all, well, before I get to first of all, let me remind you, you're on Legal AF. I'm Michael Popok. Take a moment, hit the subscribe button, and you'll get more content just like this one. All right, so let's go back to what's happening here. Donald Trump had another terrible week. I mean, he had one win at the United States Supreme Court, allowing him to deport 500,000 Cubans and Haitians and Venezuelans. Attention, Cuban, Haitian, and Venezuelan American voters. There's a spill on aisle 47. You should remember at the time of the midterms. So he had that win, but everything else has been a loss. Donald Trump is losing 96% of his cases, not just in front of Democratic appointed judges or blue chip or blue collar judges, but all judges. I mean, it just runs the gamut from Biden appointees, Obama, Reagan, Clinton, and even Trump appointees on a regular basis. This Court of International Trade in New York was a 3-judge panel with one Trumper on there, one Biden and one Obama. So activist, I mean, he nominated the guy. Trump appointed him. He got confirmed. He just doesn't like the result. They're not participating in trade negotiations. They don't want to conduct trade. They just want to make sure the president is following the rules and coloring inside the lines of our giant constitutional coloring book. That's all. And so Donald Trump didn't like that loss. The reason he took the case to the Court of International Trade was to pick up some Trump support, some Trump appointees, because he didn't like the judge that was originally assigned to the case. How'd that go for you? Not well, because your policies are crazy. They're rogue. You're lurching from one abuse of power to the next. And so Ty Cobb, who I love, he says about Karoline Leavitt, well, I think she's lost all credibility. She's just sort of Creepy Karoline at this point. Let's roll the clip that triggered Ty Cobb, Donald Trump's former lawyer.
Last night, the Trump administration faced another example of judicial overreach. Using his full and proper legal authority, President Trump imposed universal tariffs and reciprocal tariffs on Liberation Day to address the extraordinary threat to our national security and economy posed by large and persistent annual U.S. goods trade deficits. The United States has run a trade deficit of goods every year since 1975. In 2024, our trade deficit in goods exceeded $1 trillion. Everybody agrees this is unacceptable. President Trump is delivering on his promise to fix this problem, and he has taken a long overdue and much needed bold stance for American workers after decades of our manufacturing base being hollowed out. The president's rationale for imposing these powerful tariffs was legally sound and grounded in common sense. President Trump correctly believes that America cannot function safely long-term if we are unable to scale advanced domestic manufacturing capacity, have our own secure critical supply chains, and our defense industrial base is dependent on foreign adversaries. 3 judges of the U.S. Court of International Trade disagreed and brazenly abused their judicial power to usurp the authority of President Trump to stop him from carrying out the mandate that the American people gave him. These judges failed to acknowledge that the President of the United States has core foreign affairs powers and authority given to him by Congress to protect the United States economy and national security. Congress had created the National Emergency Act to provide the congressional framework to strike down improper IEEPA use. And any questions over whether President Trump improperly imposed these IEEPA tariffs were already adjudicated in Congress following Liberation Day. Congress firmly rejected an effort led by Senator Rand Paul and Democrats to terminate the president's reciprocal tariffs. The courts should have no role here. There is a troubling and dangerous trend of unelected judges inserting themselves into the presidential decision-making process. America cannot function if President Trump, or any other president for that matter, has their sensitive diplomatic or trade negotiations railroaded by activist judges.
Now, we have our own critique of Karoline Leavitt. I mean, she's enthusiastic. She's running in the wrong way against democracy, but she's running at 100 miles an hour with ferocity, right? She's not a lawyer. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's given talking points primarily by Stephen Miller, and she dutifully reads them like any good North Korean news commentator. You know, she's like that pink kimono woman on North Korea TV. It's propaganda at the highest order. And that's Ty Cobb's point. The reason Donald Trump is losing and is losing 96% of the cases, and he's got more than 200 cases, more than 60 injunctions against him, and it's about 50-50 even at the United States Supreme Court that he controls, is because he's out of control, because he's rogue. And when he loses, he blames federal courts. Now it's gone even further. Forget biting the hand that feeds him. He's amputating the hands that fed him in the Federalist Society. Donald Trump wouldn't be Donald Trump if it wasn't for the support of the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society. They go hand in glove with Donald Trump. Donald Trump in his first term outsourced the entire selection of the federal judiciary, more than 200 members, to Leonard Leo, a shadowy figure who with $2 billion of resources and other organizations supports Donald Trump. He's a right-wing, MAGA right, Roman Catholic. I only mention that because it's so part of his policymaking. Far right, anti-abortion, anti-LGBTQ rights, anti-gay operative. There's no other way to put it. And his judges match. Every one of the right-wing judges of the United States Supreme Court connects themselves back to Leonard Leo, including Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. We wouldn't have the Dobbs decision overturning a woman's right to choose without Leonard Leo. You know, if it wasn't for Leonard Leo and McConnell, the then Senate Majority Leader, working hand in glove to reshape the federal judiciary while the Democrats slept and were asleep at the switch, we wouldn't be in this mess. So now Donald Trump, though, because they're attacking Donald Trump, because some of the Trump judges aren't following along with him. He's had losses with federal judges who are Trumpers. And because they are attacking the conservatives, the Federalist Society members are attacking his first big selection of Emil Bove, his criminal defense lawyer, political hack, chief henchman in the Department of Justice, to be on the 3rd District Court of Appeal, the prestigious New Jersey seat, no less. I'm a New Jersey boy. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like that the Federalist Society is attacking Emil Bove and that he's losing at the Court of International Trade. Put all that together and you got Karoline Leavitt, Creepy Karoline, taken to the podium. It's a good thing, though. This break, this schism that's now developed, this cleave between the conservatives, the real small C conservatives, and the MAGA is going to be helpful at the midterms. Because that's why we're seeing in the polling, not only Donald Trump at so low approval ratings, but 18% of Republicans peeling away from MAGA to say, we don't like Donald Trump. More than 70% of the people are against all of his signature policies, from the economy to deportation to cutting the federal funding relationship between the American people and the U.S. government. And this is going to be part of it. You piss off Leonard Leo. You piss off the Federalist Society. You lose the Supreme Court, who are tied to Leonard Leo. Look, hell, Leonard Leo helped found a major law school named after Antonin Scalia that hosts every year a junket to bring in other Federalist judges, including like Aileen Cannon down in Florida, you know, and stepping stone for the United States Supreme Court. Now, if Donald Trump cuts all these people out and lets Stephen Miller, his deputy White House chief of staff, pick those candidates, look out. How do you like the sound of Associate Supreme Court Justice Alina Habba, Associate Supreme Court Justice Todd Blanche, Associate Supreme Court Justice Pam Bondi? How about Judge Pirro? That's what's going to happen. because now he's going completely out of the mainstream. Now, not even the Federalists are going to be giving him advice. American Bar Association, he's already cut ties with. So this is going to be MAGA, MAGA, MAGA to the extreme. Inbred MAGA, I guess is the best way to put it. So I'm going to continue to follow it all right here. It's important that we join together. We have no more time nor the luxury of a silent majority. We must speak out. We got to do it here together on Legal AF. Take a moment, subscribe. Legal AF, the Substack, where you're going to get all these documents that get filed at the Supreme Court and opinions and court filings. You can read for yourself my analysis, those of my other contributors, a morning briefing from me, all at the Legal AF Substack. Come over there and subscribe as well. And we've got the #1 Law and Politics podcast on the YouTube podcast rankings every week. It's called Legal AF, the podcast, Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, only on the Midas Touch Network. Then we bring it back over here. We do ad-free versions as well, all for you. So my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.